Hello and welcome. On behalf of this oral history project, I Am IUN, I, Jake Martin, will be interviewing Nicole Schmeid. Today is April 25th, 2024, and it is 1 p.m. We are located on the third floor of the Anderson Library in the CISTL's academic media production space. Do I have your permission to record and share this interview?
You do, yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to start off with your childhood and upbringing. Can you share a bit about your upbringing and the role your family played in shaping your values and aspirations?
Wow. How much time do we have? Okay. Okay, as a kiddo, I was born to, which instantly started shaping me and still does to this day, to a first-generation American. So he was first here, born in Chicago. Their family was from Mexico, but my mom was born in Scotland, so I was first generation. And that Mexican and Scot combination isn't one that you hear of much. It really isn't. And that right there, in every little way, made a big difference. And I didn't know it right away, but how we thought of ourselves just comes up, right? Like how I would pay attention to my dad in stores, or my mom and her being able to have a gift of gab and talk to everybody was very different than when I started paying attention in high school. And I started paying attention to different friends' events or how they would speak about minorities, right? And so knowing that back home was still this safe space of like, I can look, and I present lots of ways, right? I certainly present white. I present Greek, Italian, Serbian, like people don't know where to put me right away. But also because they don't know where to put me, it's easy for me to just remind everybody that we're more alike than we're different. And so that was a big thing growing up. And they also were entrepreneurial. And it made sense that they were, right? They were immigrants to this country and they needed to make some choices. And some of their choices were to work for themselves. That was easier route, which was not easy at all. And so that was, something I was exposed to so early on and continues to shape everything I do today.
Really cool. How did they meet, if you don't mind me asking?
Church.
Yes. Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, church. My dad drove the Sunday school bus.
Okay.
And there was a little bit of age gap, not that big of an age gap necessarily, but yeah. So that's how they met. He would work with all ages of kids, and she was in part of those teen groups.
Really cool. Alrighty, and how have your friendships and social interactions influenced your personal and professional development?
Okay, so let's see. So socially, I went to private school.
Okay.
So having a small school comes with really great opportunities and a whole lot of challenges too. But it meant I needed to find other places to mix, mingle, and make friends. So church was one of those places for me. I was a part of a really large production here nearby in Northwest Indiana, and was able to meet people from all over, every corner of Indiana and Chicagoland. Yeah, and so that opens up your worldview a little bit, right? You're not just in just your little private school, you are among a whole lot of other kids too. So
really cool. Really cool. And then what were your academic interests in your early education, and did they align with your eventual career path in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I think that's tricky, right? So I think the things I was always interested in was owning a small business. So my parents did divorce, because again, that Mexican and Scot combo. Wasn't kidding, it's tough. And I was raised by my dad. So 1988, it was just me and him. I'm dating myself with a movie called Curly Sue. I don't know if you've seen it, but like it was just me and my dad. So I like the movie Curly Sue, a little different than that, but it was just me and him, and that was unheard of in the 80s. My mom had remarried and she had little ones, and my dad lived here, and so kept me in my school. And what I knew was what he knew, what he would share with me about business. And when I was 9, he was giving me my first business cards. Nicole, what would you want to own? Did he help me build a lemonade stand that also had shave ice? Yes. Did it have a hinge like I was Lucy from, the peanut gallery? Yeah, because well, then you take it down quickly. So those were my interests as an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old. But then in school, it was, I'll go to school to be a lawyer. I'll go to school to speak and to help and to mediate, and that's what I'll do. And was encouraged by that as well, like teachers and such. But it was always my dad saying, you should get a job, like go work in a big corner office, like go lead, go do that, trying to keep me from the harsh realities of business.
Of course.
but my little kid heart is what I follow today.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And
back then, did your dad allow you to help him out with his entrepreneurship?
100%. Not only did I like tag along at job sites early on, and so I used to joke that like I'm like a good luck charm, right? As he did sales, as he managed job sites, from little things, Jake, like little things that I would notice. My dad would not arrive to a job site with he may have a coffee in the truck, right? But he would not arrive to it and not have one for his guys if he didn't his stayed in the truck. Now that changed over the years a little bit with his age. I think he felt a little more entitled, like I'm gonna have my coffee. But I would watch though. So many times it would say we're bringing Gatorade for the guys, right? He had a roofing business, roofing, siding, windows, and that ended up being the first business I opened as I wrapped up my MBA.
Oh wow!
It was in 2008. There was a market crash, and so what I learned from him in little ways like that, right? Company culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
How we treat others. To by the time I was 12, I was writing his contracts. I wanted to help
Very
out
cool.
with, my handwriting was better anyway. And I wanted to understand profitability. I wanted to understand, what are the numbers here, Dad, and what's really being made. And so those early days of 12 and 13, what I was doing ended up serving me when I opened my own roofing business, because I wasn't going to take over Dad's. It was a little messy to take over something else. Mm-hmm. It was super easy to start fresh and new.
Very cool. He sounds like he really engraved that entrepreneurial spirit in you.
Yeah, I think my entire family did. Like I was only giving you a little microcosm, but all of his siblings, there's 11 of them. I would say 9 out of the 11 all have owned their own thing. Maybe only 7 have owned their own things. So
That's
when you went to family,
a great amount.
yeah. So when you went to family functions, people were talking business or they were already collaborating with each other. So a family picnic was kind of a quasi business meeting too. Drove other people crazy, but it made sense for us.
I can only imagine there were people who
yes.
didn't own something. They're like, what are they talking?
Yes. Or why are they yelling? Why are they so yelling and passionate? And then they can just go and eat, no problem. And when you're raised in it, it's like horse breeding, right? Or we talked about golf before the interview.
It's like second nature.
Right. Absolutely.
Alrighty. And were there any teachers or professors who inspired you, encouraged you for entrepreneurship?
Oh, entrepreneurship? Maybe not, right?
Okay.
Maybe not entrepreneurship, but I will tell you one story that I think has shaped a lot of what I've done. Maybe 2 stories. But I remember Dr. Hobson. Did you have Dr. Hobson?
He's the one that got me into the MBA program.
Okay. He would be a little upset if I called him that right now, right? So Charlie, if you get to watch this, he was somebody who, even though I went to a private school, you would think like, and I had close relationships there. I can think of one teacher, Mr. Allman, put into me so much, right? But I can remember Charlie saying, "What's your plan after this?" And I didn't really have one. I was an entrepreneur kid. Both my parents owned something. I didn't really have that next plan. Just like I was like, well, I'm finishing this. And he was like, "No, I see it's one of 2 things." He said, "It's either law school or it's your MBA." My M what? Right? What are these letters? And so I thought back to that 3rd grader, Nicole, who thought she would be in law, in criminal behavior type of law. That was what my mind always was at. And I really couldn't imagine that being my life and one day having a future family and taking that home to them. So I thought, well, I'll look up these letters that he's talking about. And as I looked and pursued that and crunched the numbers, back to number crunching for me, it just made a lot of sense. And so, so he really shaped that. And Connie Milborn, she's left here and she's now left this earth. Rest in peace, Connie. She and I had a few conversations. She also, I can't say encourage entrepreneurship per se, but what she did say at 19-year-old Nicole still sticks with me at 43 on how am I going to do the thing that she didn't really encourage. She was like, no, I wouldn't do that. And it's still with me, right? This much longer that I'm like, okay, I'm going to prove Connie.
Yeah,
I'm going to prove to
of course.
Connie.
You know, it's funny because Charlie is the one that really encouraged me to go for the MBA, and it's just funny that the same thing happened to you.
Yeah, somebody give Charlie a pat in the back and maybe I don't know, stipend check.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. All right, you also mentioned that you started a project during your senior year on campus. Can you elaborate on that experience, and did it contribute to your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so I started volunteering for different events. I had younger siblings. We were close. They also were in that play and production with me when they were old enough to be. And we started just volunteering. And every time you volunteered for something, you'd get a T-shirt. And you get these T-shirts and you all look the same, right? Everyone had a red T-shirt or orange T-shirt, blue, purple, whatever. And we would, or I wanted always to, I can't say I did it that many times, but I always wanted to make it a little bit more special, a little bit different than everyone else's. How could we change it up? And I started thinking about the message of a T-shirt, right? Like, we have them, we may abuse them, we get rid of them, we forget about them, we fold them, we don't fold them. Used, abused, worn out, right? And somewhere along the lines, I looked at that T-shirt and thought about just like a message of faith for me, and how we all have different labels. We all come from different places. We can feel used and abused, and we literally have different labels, right? That people can put on us, or that we can put on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I barely mentioned to my dad that I was going to collect some T-shirts, that I was going to bedazzle them, essentially, right? Like, I was going to, we cut up the side, my sister and I, we would lace them, nothing you guys want to wear, but they would have these bedazzled jewels, they would be cut, so that not a high neck. And I mentioned this to him, and I said, we'd call it reconditioned, but we'd spell it with shunned, right? Because everyone has this feeling of, somewhere along the lines, they feel less than. Even if you're doing great at something, we always have this one thing we want to work on harder. Golf swing, maybe. Yeah. Certainly mine. It's
always that little voice in the back of your head.
Right. Mm-hmm. Golf for me is a comedic relief. You would laugh. It's good for laughter.
Of course.
And so my dad barely heard this. And what did he do? He put an ad in the local paper that said collecting T-shirts for a worldwide event, or for a world record event, or something like that. And Jerry Davich, who was with the Times at the time, then he went to the Post, now he's back at the Times, I believe. Anyway, he caught that, and he called me as I was walking across campus one day and said who he was. And I said, what? This is also when cell phones were kind of new. So I was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, are you collecting them? And I was like, I didn't know. I go, yeah, I didn't know how you would know. And I remember hanging up the phone and then calling my dad and saying, Dad, what did you do? Right. And so that's what we did. We started collecting T-shirts, and we had thousands of them. And Jerry did come take pictures of us mountains high. And what we started to do was we started to sell them at these kid events, whether they were bands, concerts, anything that we could sell, that we could support any kid doing an event, whether it was for their church or for their school, whatever it was, we could show up and sell these T-shirts and then donate the money back. And it's
really, really cool.
Yeah, that's probably the first. That's how it all got started. So we had 5 different locations. One was certainly here in Savannah Center, that there was a drop-off location, and we just had mountains of T-shirts we were constantly trying to go through. My senior year, can you imagine?
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what your favorite success story within that project was?
Yeah, within that one, I got letters from all over the state. The Associated Press picked that up, and there were some weird letters. But then there was this one that came from a pastor in the other corner of Indiana, Northeast Indiana, in Howe, and his name is Dewey Miller. And Dewey said, I don't really know why I'm calling you, but I think what you're doing is pretty cool. Maybe there's a way we can work together. We have kids here. They want to raise money for a missions trip to go to Jamaica and help build a school.
That's awesome.
That's where I want to be. Like, we want to help you figure that out. And so I rallied up a few different people, and we packed up, and we essentially put on a show. Like, we put on a concert inside their itty bitty little United Methodist Church. We sold a few shirts. To be honest, success usually for me is measured by a number, by a dollar, right?
Yeah, of course.
I can't say that that's what that was necessarily successful in that way, except that it brought together 2 corners of Indiana in this really cool, powerful way. And then before you know it, I was on a plane with them to Jamaica. And so the success really turned into how we were able to be a part of building a school, a library. And when you're there in the southern part of Jamaica where they have nothing, this is not the pretty part of where you vacation, and you see their computers, they don't have power. So they're learning to type on a blank screen, and it breaks your heart. Like, and that was success for them, right? Like, they were learning this is what it would look like. But I remember taking a picture of the plug, and but being able to be there and to see success, that was success, being able to meet them.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you got to experience that. And
Yeah, and since then, Dewey's been a great friend. Since then, when my husband and I met, Dewey married us at the edge of Lake Michigan. I've been with Dewey in his newest endeavor, his newest project, to Uganda and Kenya.
Wow.
And so that has been a huge success, all from my dad placing this little tiny ad. That started it all.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Good for you. Good for you.
Thanks.
All right. So post-campus life, can you tell me a little bit more about what you do and what your company is?
Yeah, so I'm the founder of Smart Cookie Media, and we take care of digital media from start to smart, is what I like to say. So specifically, Facebook ads, Google ads, email nurturing. If you've ever been chased around the internet by an ad, guilty. That's what I do. And that's how I explain it to my aunt this past Christmas when she was trying to understand what we do. We also produce content. So kind of like this, we do this sort of things as well. And we have a podcast that I co-host with another IUN alum. It's called The Serial Entrepreneur Show. And we interview leaders and entrepreneurs, VC funders, angel investors, all sorts, on the show called The Serial Entrepreneur Show. And it's on YouTube and everywhere you can find it on social media. And we get to talk to these folks about their story, just like you are here today, and what sometimes feels like a serial entrepreneur doing multiple things or running after multiple goals, to the rest of the world, it feels like you're distracted and you're chasing a squirrel or chasing a shiny object. But we know when we're talking to all of them, we know it's literally their next idea is the one that hits. And it's like this safe space where they can be themselves and share.
Very cool. And now can you tell me your favorite success story in your current company?
One we celebrated was getting past 100 weekly episodes of that show. Yeah. I learned around episode 60 that most don't make it past three episodes. Really? Yeah, most don't. Wow. And yeah, and I at 60, I was like, wait, so we did it. Like we've done it. Like we did it. That's certainly not why I wanted it to end. I named my business Smart Cookie Media to have that power to be able to share over media, so that people knew this isn't just about marketing agency. This is about, can you control your own message and what you want to share with the world? And so doing so with the podcast was a way that it opens new doors. The founders I get to talk to, I wouldn't get to normally talk to them if I said, I own a marketing agency. They'd be like, we have one.
Yeah, of course.
But if I said, like, can I share your story? It's different, and the relationships are different. We're still trying to figure out what does that mean for 100 episodes, weekly episodes of business leaders. We're still trying to figure out what else do they need from us? We are asking those questions as well. But I would say that consistency feels really, really great. Other people being able to refer you when it's something that doesn't feel like a sales pitch, right? Mm-hmm. It is both B2B when clients hire us then to take care of their own podcasts, right? So we have a couple different ones that do that, or their own, short digital reels. They understand that they can hire us for that. But by and large, they can treat it as B2B, that they can just get their business information, but also B2C, they can just consume and hear a story too.
Yeah, of course.
So that's been a recent one that I'm pretty proud of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And do you have any plans on other entrepreneurial endeavors?
Always. Always. Yeah, I mean, pick a day, pick an hour. I alluded to something that Connie had said to me that is still stuck with me this many years later. I didn't have the language then at 19. In fact, I don't even think that was just an econ class. So I wasn't even through much of the rest of my schooling, right? Mm-hmm. Certainly wasn't through capstone. I would have maybe figured it out during capstone. But the question I asked her that still gnaws at me is really about performance of a business and having an ownership or equity stake in someone's business. Coming in and coming beside an owner who needs an integrator, mm-hmm. who can get to the next level only if they clone themselves. I hear this all the time. Who they specialize and they're a really great technician at the thing, is a lot of how I've always tried to run a business. I was not shingling on a roof when I owned my roofing business, right? I was sales, I was marketing, I was managing the administration. And I decided to exit that business so I could have a family, so I could actually think outside of that all-consuming business. But it's still the same thing that gnaws at me. How can I come alongside 5 business owners in an equity stake, right? So that they can trust I'm in it. Like, this isn't about a fee, but this also isn't performance-based marketing either. Mm-hmm. That this is you win when I win, and I win when you win. and not partnership, because I want a business owner to feel like, no, it's still your baby, still your thing. But how can we come together and really maximize that potential is the thing that's still gnawing at me. So that is the thing, Jake. There will be probably, maybe we'll start off at 1 or 2, but there will probably be a few businesses that I'll have an ownership stake in, so we can get them to the next level.
That's awesome. Congratulations to
you. Thank you.
And
don't jinx it yet.
Knock on wood.
Yes,
knock on wood. I see that you brought something in.
Yeah.
Would you care to show us and elaborate on what it is?
Yeah. So I don't know about you or anyone else that might be watching, but I took a full class load every semester because I wanted to get out as fast as I could.
But I can relate to that, definitely.
Right?
I'm taking 20 credit hours this semester.
There you go. Oh my gosh. But I also needed to be working.
Of course.
And not all places had really great hours to work, to get in all that time and to still have somewhat of a life, some semblance of a life, right? Like if you worked, Monday through Friday and they're trying to fit in school. Anyway, but the thing that I started at Blockbuster Video before I started classes, and I stayed there all the way, as long as I possibly could, till, from September 98 till December 2002. So it was like 6.5 years or so. I was at, I think 16 different stores at least over that time. I was on the franchise side, and then I went to the corporate side, which meant a lot of Illinois stores. I helped open stores and close stores. And so I brought you one of the things that I could be found taking off when I walked into class was usually a Blockbuster Video. There's my manager pin, and then so many others, like, let's see. So there was a Bug's Life. We had a grand opening. Pokemon Snap Station when that came. You name it, Jake. Check it out. Braveheart, when it was remastered. Aaron Brockovich. There's something about Mary. There's so many. What do you have?
I've got Doug's first movie, Madeline, and one of my personal favorites, Adam Sandler's The Waterboy.
The Waterboy,
The
yes.
Waterboy.
Yes. Tarzan. Everything's in here, from Disney to, and you, when movies went to keeping them 12 hours longer so you could actually return them the next day, that was a big thing as we started to move away from late fees. So this was usually something that when I was on campus, I was making sure I was pulling off of a shirt.
Really cool. So for each launch of a movie, would you guys get some of these?
Not almost each. Like Disney always had them, but nearly all the other ones. Later on in years, they would send a few less, it seemed. But yeah, a lot of times, each one that came out, there was usually something. I think it was all about who backed it, right? Like, so you'll see that there's a ton of Disney in there. But then this one's like Instinct with Anthony Hopkins, I'm guessing. Yeah, Buena Vista. I think Blockbuster may have had a partnership with them potentially. So I think it depends on who was making the movie.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and lastly, is there anything else that you would like to add?
You asked a really good question about those couple professors. I will say the time spent here, while it felt like it dragged on, are some of the moments that I always come back to. And no matter what, the lesson that I learned that I take and I try to give it to everyone else that I can is wherever you are, that's how you do life. Like whatever you do, that's how you do everything. And so when we're in any space, whether it's schooling or post-grad or that first job or the jobs that I've hated along the way, is really be there, right? What you put in is what you get out. And so if you halfway do it, you're going to get halfway out. And sometimes that's necessary, right? To survive those really bad jobs. Sometimes you just got to do the part you can. But I would say I learned that it was actually in this building across the hall. There was a leadership institute at that time. And I remember just really hearing that again and again and taking with me wherever I go now. Like, be in it. If you're not going to really be in it,
speaks
then,
numbers.
Yeah.
Speaks wonders.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, thanks. This was great.
Well, thank you for allowing me to interview you. It was cool to learn about all your experiences and your upbringing.
Thank you.